The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining this live video. I hope you can hear me and see my screen. If you wish to ask questions, please use the question box provided by the software control panel. Meanwhile, I start with the dollar index as usual. The dollar index, DXY. My primary count of a large degree suggests that the dollar index is completing its larger degree decline, matching with wave CO4. Potential target is 86 region, and mine account suggests that we may be already on the way to this ideal target. This is the daily chart. And finally, this is the counts of a smaller degree, minor scale. As I have mentioned in my daily updates, above 91.5, wave CO4 remains my preferred count, and potential target for extension is 9409. This extension is supposed to set up final flush in the wave 5 of CO4 towards the 86 region. Option 1 is my preference. Option 2 is seriously questioned by this rally towards 92.32. Above 92.32, the resistance region, this micro count would be invalidated, and I will switch to the option 1 micro as a high confidence option, and in particular, if we have initial 1, 2 to the upside. 1, 2, and we are confirmed to be in the wave 5 of CO4. In the case we extend lower to this region, then the wave 4 count remains alive, and higher targets still remain on the table. But in the case we see decisive break below this support, then I will restore the option to micro and consider the dollar index as being in the wave 1 of CO4 to the downside. But so far, this bearish scenario seems to be much less likely at the moment. Euro, on the count of a large degree. Wave 4 may be topping or has already topped. Maybe topping is the count shown on the option 1 micro chart. This count suggests one more low in the wave CO4, and the micro scale is telling that we may have already completed the fourth wave bounce and going to extend lower towards 1.1623, or may have topped. And here comes the alternate daily chart. And this chart suggests extension towards 1.1687 in wave 1 of the major top. Please note, if this high is already in place, then the next target is 0.98 region. So potential decline could be really devastating. And we are about to reach the first support on the way down. In the case we see a sustainable impulsive extension to a higher high, then the alternate D count would be solidly invalidated. But if we get corrective bounce matching with this wave 2, then we are already on the way towards 0.98, and my primary count will be amended with the bearish option, though these options may be looking alike on a micro scale, as the next move higher may be looking equally unclear on this chart and on the alternate D chart. Anyway, I'm looking for a lower low within this wave CO4. The next bounce is supposed to clarify the best option, option 1 micro or the alternate count. If this region will provide us with a strong bounce, then I will place and post micro count for this scenario too. That's it for the dollar index and the euro. If you have any questions, please use the question box provided by the software control panel. Meanwhile, we are heading to the metals. Then I'm going to comment on major and minor Forex pairs and complete presentation in the crypto land. Metals. Gold. First of all, options of large degree. The primary count suggesting wave B count for the wave 4. Looks like this low is not yet the bottom of the wave 4, and the red count is my preference. And the next alternate scenario, similar set of counts, but within the wave 2 of the wave 1 top. Basically, internal wave structure for these moves may be looking alike. Main options of a smaller degree, based upon the fourth wave pullback. My primary count suggests impulsive extension matching with wave B. Please note that these charts are based upon the cash prices for the gold and silver on the Forex platforms. I personally use Metastock data feed from Refinitiv. Right now, we have held below the recent high at 1833.65. It means that the lower target for the wave 2 still remains intact. And in the case we take out this previous high, then wave 3 becomes my new preference. Wave 2 may not be the high probability option. We already may be having this wave 2 bottomed. I mean 1, ABC of 2, and now 1, 2. Now, if this low was the low of the wave 2, then we may be having 1 and 2 in progress. It means that pullback may represent wave 2 of 1 lesser degree, and it may bottom, let's say at 1797. So I certainly wouldn't bet much money on the short side of this market. At best, if you wish to hedge your long positions. Otherwise, shorts look dangerous, in my opinion. So this is the primary count, 1, 2. Option 2 micro. Suggests corrective rally in the wave CF2 within much more bearish wave structure. Basically, below 1916.4, this count remains alive, and we may have topped in the wave 1 of C, 1, 2. In the case we break below the previous low, then the cycle B is my preference. Right now, this count seems to be matching the time scale I have chosen for this chart. But anyway, I wouldn't bet on the short side. We may be already on our way towards 1880, ideal target for the wave CF2. Finally, option 3. Option 3 suggests immediate extension to a lower low within the wave 1 of CF4. So far, this count seems to be the least likely. To confirm it, gold has to break below the previous low. This is the critical level for the option 1 micro count, 1749.2. Above this line, option 1 micro is my preference. Option 2 seems to be a less likely alternative, and the option 3 micro seems to be the least likely option. We have to break the previous low to prove it is valid. So far, it is the least likely scenario in my opinion. Above 1833.65, I will take it off the charts. Silver. I have placed multiple counts of large degree in the main row. All these counts were presented in the Forex service earlier, and they remain fully intact. Unfortunately, I couldn't yet consider one of these options as a prevalent scenario. Therefore, I will explain some charts as they come. Well, the first, we still may be dealing with expanded flat correction in the wave 4. It means that lower targets within this A, B, and C wave structure remain alive. I wouldn't bet much money on this short side, again, just like in gold, as this count has been seriously questioned by entire wave pattern of the low. This impulse was too strong to still consider this rally as wave 4, but the count is technically valid, and lower target for this decline still remains on the table. Option 2 micro suggests similar target, but within the largest different larger decrease scenario, wave B and C. So anyway, in the case we get a lower low within this wave C, we are going to bounce really strong in the wave C or in the wave D of a triangle. Option 3 micro supposes that we have already bottomed, and above 24.46 we're dealing with initial 1, 2 of the low. This impulsive-looking decline today is looking, or may be interpreted as a part of expanded flat correction. It means that 1 and 2 is now in progress. A, B, and C. The next low could trigger a powerful reversal and rally. Above 27.055, this count becomes my preference. And I have to note that this count is now looking deserving of attention. Potential target for the next move up will be added as soon as we have this count confirmed. But 1, 2, let's wait a little more. I don't think I could provide you with hyperability targets right now, but I think that around 29 area is a minimum target for this wave C. We have A, complex wave B, and wave C to the upside very well could reach 29 and 30 region. 32 seems to be overly optimistic, therefore, so far I placed this mark lower. That was it for metals. If you have any questions, please post your question in the question box. I see something. Do you have the weekly for the Ethereum? Probably I do. I am having trouble counting the Ethereum move from 2015 to 2018 top. It looks like a big ABC3 wave move making the December 2018 low wave 2 of a big diagonal. Thanks. I will take a look and comment when we get to the correct event. Weekly chart on the Ethereum, or anyway larger time scale for Ethereum. Not necessarily the weekly. We'll see. Now, major forex pairs, the British pound. I want to note that yesterday I have posted a very bearish count for this pair. So far I see 3 waves up, and pullback of the high is looking like we're setting up further decline. I have to note that below 1.3850, this count would be looking much better. The 4th wave may have topped. It is still technically valid, and below 1.3950, my next target would be 1.3464. This count remains technically valid. However, option 3 micro is also looking fine, as this bounce has reached 0.618 retracement pressure of this wave 1. We potentially may be dealing with 1, 2. Even in the case we start tracing corrective pullback, then this may be only a B wave of 2. So below 1.32, so I do apologize, 1.4248, wave 2 count remains fully intact, and wave 1 count is appropriate interpretation of the count of a larger degree. So please be careful with longs here. In particular, if we break below 1.3850, immediate break above 1.4, and then we are within the bullish option to micro. But so far, this count doesn't seem to be a high confidence, in my opinion. Euro to the British pound. The daily chart is looking better for explanation. What we're dealing with on this chart. Potentially, we may be tracing initial wave pattern within the wave 3 of this wave 5C of 1 down. However, above the pivot support at 0.846, we could see a stronger bounce within this pattern. Therefore, until this region is clearly broken down, I would be careful with the shorts. Even with the bearish micro count I'm tracking. In the case we take out 0.8669, this red line, then entire count gets questioned. This still may be waves A, B, C, and now we are setting up another bounce within the same wave 4. I do not pose this count as this consolidation could provide us with numerous options. Therefore, I'm focused on the key signal level on the upside and the pivot support at 0.846. Basically, with this pair, I remain neutral. Japanese yen. Where yesterday we had seen break below the previous low, and this ending diagonal in the wave C of 4 is my preferred count. Please note that a local overbought signal is forming here. Slightly higher target could exhaust this rally, and we may get another move to a marginally lower low within this wave CF4. Overall, this counts poses higher targets. 11,313 is the ideal target for the wave 5 of the circle A. Only in the case we break below 10,680, this count of a large degree gets questioned. Otherwise, this is my next target, and potential extension is 11,560. This red sea wave. Euro to the Japanese yen. I'm closely watching this resistance region. In the case the pair won't be able to take this resistance out and hold below 13,200, then this one too could potentially set up a devastating decline in the wave CFB. This initial wave pattern may be looking like a leading diagonal, also may be interpreted as an ABC. A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This specific count is based upon the leading diagonal interpretation for this move down. It means that 3 waves up could complete entire wave 2. Therefore, we may be dealing with 1, 2, and the next move down in the case we won't be able to take out this resistance. The next move down could suddenly break the pivot support and develop strong decline matching with wave 3 of CFB. In the case we take out the signal resistance I have just mentioned, then the next rally is supposed to reach 13,501. This count was my preference and it remains fully intact, at least until both 12,749 is broken down. With Frank. The pair has reached the pivot support and we are seeing initial bounce. However, we are still too low to consider this decline bottomed. Moreover, from Fibonacci proportion standpoint, this decline is looking like the heart of the wave 3 and another low, and we have the third wave of this presumable wave 1 completed. Option 1 micro, suggesting impulsive decline, is my preference here, and below the resistance at 0.9127, 1, 2 is my preferred count. Below 0.9266, this count remains my preference. Option 2 micro, the bullish option, supposes immediate break above the signal resistance and impulsive extension targeting beyond this signal line. But so far, this count is looking much less likely, in my opinion. Euro to the Swiss franc. This count has been posted a few months back and is working like a charm. It is still working. Below 10868 with 3 of a larger degree is my preference. Please note that we are only starting multiple series of 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5 within the larger degree with 3. Please do not bet on the long side of this market until this count is validated. Wave 3 are well known for very shallow pullbacks, matching with entering fourth wave. This wave count represents ideal wave structure, but the pair shouldn't follow it literally. We may see really very shallow pullbacks, very shallow bounces within this wave 3 down. So I would prefer having short positions instead of longs, whatever attractive locally long may be looking like. I don't trust longs for this pair at the moment. Canadian dollar. My primary count supposes 1, 2 within the wave 5 of C. Ideal target is 1.16807. And micro count is looking like this. Ideal target for the wave 2 is already reached, but we could extend higher. I see no issues with this count until 1.27 is taken out. In the case we break above this level, then the red count on the option 2 micro becomes looking much better. For now, we may be dealing with 1 and 2, I mean the red count. Sorry, I see some issue with this. That would be better. Okay, continue. The red count is looking much less likely at the moment as compared to the counts of count shown on the option 1 micro chart. Also, wave B count on this chart also looking good, and both option 2 and option 1 suppose further extension to the downside, at least in corrective manner. Option 1 micro suggests powerful decline towards a lower low. But in the case we see sustainable extension in impulsive manner, breaking out above 1.27, then the red count really deserves our attention. That was it for the major Forex pairs. Any new questions? No new questions so far. Okay, let's continue. Australian dollar. Potentially very bullish count. of a large degree, and I have mentioned many times, potentially waves A, B, and C of 2 may be complete or about to complete. Let's zoom in. Formally, about 0.7326, this impulsive bullish count remains technically intact. But below this key resistance, I would be careful with longs, as ideal target, marked with this blue oval, resides lower. This level is no more needed, but this signal resistance remains on the table, and it deserves our attention, in my opinion, as below this resistance, lower targets still may be reached. Break above this resistance, and I confidently count this rally as wave 3 of initial impulse of the long-term bottom. New Zealand dollar. Similar count of a larger degree. Two possible interpretations suggest wave 2 of different degrees for this pullback. The alternate and the primary count. Doesn't matter what we're dealing with, both counts suppose really strong extension to the upside is coming. Option 1 micro is based upon the primary daily chart, and below 0.7105 it remains technically valid. This count supposes an ending diagonal to the downside. Otherwise, I also could apply a triangle scenario to this weird consolidation. A, B, C, D, and E, and then final flush toward the ideal region at 0.6797. But below 0.7105, I certainly couldn't consider this pair bottomed. Above this level, there would be a strong indication of a meaningful low maybe already in place. And again, like primary count supposes strong extension matching with the third wave of 3. Singapore dollar. Looks like we're dealing with initial wave 1 of 5 of C. Below 1.3692, this count remains applicable. 1, 2, and we are ready to drop hard. I'm going to watch this chart as an indicator for other currency pairs. Mexican peso. Ideal target, which was a low probability, has played out, however. Below 20.2490, it remains fully intact. This bounce has reached the ideal target for the wave 2 of CO3. 1, 2, and we are ready to drop in the wave 3 to 1944, and then 4 and 5 towards 1920. Please note, this resistance could stop the rally and trigger strong decline. To invalidate the count, the pair has to break over 20.2490. Turkish lira. The count of large degree supposes the fourth wave for this pullback. Ultimate extension for this count is 9.4 region, my old target. Now the minor scale. The pair has bounced off the ideal support projected earlier. Wave B could reach this region before the next move down, or even break above this region. Still could be interpreted as expanded flat correction in the wave B. This option is marked red. A, B, and C down towards the same target region. So below 8.98, I remain moderate bearish, and I wouldn't touch this pair. As entire wave pattern, wave B of 4, even if these are presumable designation for possible wave structures. B of 4 is the wave structure I would not deal with. Polish zloty. Ideally, I could count this pair as A, B, and C of 4, and this wave structure may be considered as complete. But I have to know that we have already reached 1.618 extension to the downside, and this extension makes corrective interpretation questioned. Option 3 microchart supposes impulsive count for this decline, and below 3.8530 wave 4 for this bounce remains technically valid. This wave structure suggests further extension to the downside within initial impulse of the second wave top. Above this level, and this count gets questioned, I confidently restore the option 1 micro, and the next target is 3.96. And finally, Russian ruble. As I have mentioned, the pairs United States dollar to the ruble and the euro to the ruble has reached the pivot support regions, and now this pair may start forming initial waves on the way higher. So far so good, but I don't see convincing wave structure pointing to a high confidence bottom. This initial wave structure still could set up further decline, so I'm looking forward to initial 1, 2 a large degree. 1, 2, and we are ready to extend higher within the wave 3, and so on. If this is the low, then let me project ideal target for interim wave structure. Fits nicely. Initial resistance 73.44. So as long as pullbacks are holding above the previous low at 62.95, I'm looking for higher targets. Ideal target for of 1 larger degree is 74.75. Let me designate this count on this chart. And this is now the key signal level. Above this signal level, this is potential target for the next move up within the circle 3. In the case we break below this signal level, then I will have to elaborate a new count with targets at 69 or 70. Euro to the Russian ruble. Similar analysis applies. Wave 2 may have bottomed, though the previous low has been breached, and I am concerned somewhat regarding this wave structure. But anyway, in the case we see a sustainable move up, let's say towards 88 or 89 area, then that would be a strong argument pointing to a meaningful low. Otherwise, in the case we see corrective rally, then it may be only an interim wave structure within this wave 3 of the ending diagonal in the wave CF2. So uncertainty remains. I'm going to watch the qualitative parameters, and I refer to the Elliott wave theory wave structures. I do not see any certain level on the upside confirming the meaningful low, but in the case we sustainably break below the pivot support, then at least I see a reasonable wave count for euro to the Russian ruble. In the case we break below this signal line, then I know the target, but I have no yet a confident count. So we'll see. If you have any questions, the same questions. Got question regarding Ethereum. Okay. Ethereum. We are moving towards the crypto land. I start with Ethereum. This was my prime account, projected on a logarithmic price scale. This is what I see on this chart. This is potential high of the wave sub 1, and we are tracing corrective pullback matching with wave 2. This is my prime account. projected on a linear scale. This wave subdivision also suggests that we have topped in the wave 1 as 3.0 extension of the previous low, the previous bottom. We were referring to 2015 low. Here it is. 3.0 extension is enough to consider initial impulse of the low topped. Therefore, wave 2 is an appropriate count on the linear scale too. Please note similar target regions for the wave 2, marked on both linear and logarithmic scale. Linear scale. The chart will be posted after the live video, as well as the primary chart on the logarithmic scale. Ideal target in the same 1000 region. Please note that the bottom region of this target zone is 86. I don't think it's a high confidence target right now, but it could really crush the market. Okay, now let's zoom in. Ideal target for the wave CFB corrective rally is just around the corner, 2778. Let's see how this crypto pair will react to this resistance, and then we'll see. Anyway, 3268 is the next major resistance. I don't think we have bottomed yet in this correction. So near-term resistance at 2778 or the next resistance at 3280. One of these regions is supposed to send the crypto pair back down towards 1000 area. This is my take on Ethereum. Bitcoin. The count to a large degree supposes a B-wave count for this rally. Almost all crypto pairs I have been watching are showing similar wave bottom. Primarily, I consider this rally as part of correction, and it means that lower targets remain alive. The primary count is pointing towards 22,266 or even to 16,000 region. Wave 4 count will still be applicable. Option 1 micro count supposes further extension in the wave 3, 4, and 5. Ideal target is 47,000 area. Then pull back in the wave 4. Alternative count supposes deeper pullback in the wave 2. All these counts were presented many months back when the entire market was going to visit Moon, Mars, and other planets. I have projected all this resistance earlier, and now I'm watching how this wave structure is unfolding. The same B wave, but ideal target for the C of 2 is 20,500. Potential complication for this wave count is the red wave structure, A, B, and C. Potential pullback, yes, below 10,000. Until I see clear impulsive breakout above the previous high, this red count will remain on the chart. Again, I'm telling this well ahead. These events will play out. Litecoin. Similar wave structure. I'm not sure that this microwave structure will necessarily play out, but the primary count is telling that we very well could head much lower in the wave CO2. This is the ideal target, and so far I do not see a high confidence bullish wave structure. However, so far I maintain this count as an alternate scenario, which is still technically intact. I'm not sure that it will play out, but I prefer keeping it in mind as a reasonable bullish alternative. Though I don't see it as a high confidence. And finally, links. Option 1 micro, suggesting the fourth wave count within the ending diagonal to the downside is questioned. I consider it unlikely and marked with a gray line. Option 2 micro, more bullish wave structure presented over the weekend, remains fully intact. ABC of A may be in place. Now we are tracing ABC of B. Optionally, this low may be considered as a major low, and in the case we take out the 43 region, then the daily chart is pointing out our next target. This is 113 region. Again, I don't think it's a high confidence scenario. Right now I'm favoring B wave corrective rally. That was it for today. Any questions? Again, thanks God I see no questions. Meanwhile, first, thank you for joining this live video. The next Wednesday will be another live session. Please prepare your questions in advance if you wish. You can also post your questions as a response to any of my thread, any of my posts in the main room or in the Forex room. All the charts commented will be posted after the live video along with the recording of this session. Again, thank you for joining this session and have a great evening. Bye-bye.